So if you use terms like NOI, IRR, BTG, BCG, whatever, there's so many different acronyms there. When you use, for example, NOI, if it stands for net operating income, then you would pause. Even if you've known what it is for a long time, perhaps, most likely, you've got at least a listener who's on the other end of the headphones that has no idea what NOI means. And so what you would do is you would always think about your avatar in terms of when they started. Write it down. A point to that is if you have an episode and it goes into some detail, and then later on you have a different episode and it goes into more detail, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, in my third episode about this subject, I'm going to not mention anything that I said in the first one or the second one, and I'm only going to mention, level 301 instead of going to the 101 class, the 201 class, and going straight to the 301. You might be ignoring the prerequisites, the base knowledge to be able to use acronyms, fancy acronyms like that. So you need to assume that you've always got a couple of listeners on each and every podcast that is still in the 101 place. So how do you talk to all of them? Here's an idea. You might say, I'm looking at the NOI, and if you hadn't heard of NOI, it just means net operating income. And in short, that means it's the total income that you have after all of the expenses that you spend. So you might go into that where now you've got 101 people that are listening and they're saying, oh, okay, I'm with him. I am with her. I know what they're talking about now. Okay. Then going to the Wasatch Front, the podcast is based in a city that's found in Utah, and there is actually a mountain range there that encompasses a couple of ski resorts, and probably including a couple of famous ones like Snowbird. You may have heard of Park City. There's a lot of places that might be included in what's called the Wasatch Front. The Front Range in Colorado is the east side of these mountains, and then in Utah, it's on the west side of these mountains. So there's this range, and if you're in Colorado and only in Colorado, you might use the term Front Range or the Western Slope. If you're in Utah, you might use a term called the Wasatch Front. But the problem is when you're on your podcast and people are listening to you from other countries as well, as you get into these details of Wasatch Front, your listener probably isn't going to know what that means. Yes, sure. You live in Utah. You're an influencer in Utah, and you host events in Utah. And a lot of the people that have started listening to your show, you've met in Utah. And they know what IRR means. They know what CPA means. They know what what is it? NOI means. They know where the Wasatch Front is because they live there, because they've seen you. But unfortunately, in 10 years from now, when your podcast is bigger, there's a few people that listen to your podcast a year from now. They're not from Utah. They're not from where you're from. Maybe they've never been there. Maybe they've never visited. And so if you say Wasatch Front, then you should change that and say something like, basically, all I mean is Salt Lake City, Utah, Salt Lake Metro. And then you would finish. Or you would say, if you're not familiar with the Wasatch Front, that is all of the cities, basically Salt Lake, south down to Provo, and north up to Ogden. You might say something like that. And what that ends up doing is get your listener, and pay close attention to this, please. Pay close attention. What that does is it gets your listener to be able to say, I know what they are talking about. Because guess what? If your listener says, I don't know what she's saying. What is she even talking about? How do I find this? I can't find this on the web. I can't find this on the internet. I don't have time. I'm driving. I don't know what that means. Well, guess what? A confused mind, write it down. A confused mind says no.